Hey there guys, I'm back to another video. Today we'll be taking a look at my Blu-ray collection. This was requested to me in a question last week in my Q&A video. If you haven't seen that, you could check that out. But yeah, I'm pretty much going to be showing you guys all my Blu-rays. I have plus 60 Blu-rays, so you might not be interested in every single one of these, so you can skim through the video as you wish as I talk about each and every single one of these movies. Some are going to be very brief because I haven't watched some of these, and then some of them are going to be much more of my thoughts on each film. So yeah, just keep that in mind. So let's go and get into the first film that I have here. It is Ant-Man. This was a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie that I actually skipped out on until I watched Civil War, and then right after that I was like, I want to go and see what Ant-Man's about. And this movie did a fantastic job at introducing Ant-Man as a character. Paul Rudd did a fantastic job as portraying God damn it, what's Ant-Man's real life name? It's some Scott, right? I forget. But yeah, I really do like this movie. It is definitely within my top 5 favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. If you have yet to watch it, definitely watch it, because before watching this film I had no interest in Ant-Man whatsoever. Despite him being in Civil War, and me saying that I was intrigued by his character and I want to go and see what his character was about. Before watching Civil War, I was like, Ant-Man's whatever. But after watching this film and Civil War, I was like, wow, I'm really down with Ant-Man. And I cannot wait for the sequel for it to come out later this year. So, yeah, Ant-Man. Next film here, the first Avengers movie. I saw this in theaters and I was blown away. It was fantastic. I really did love it as much as everyone else did. Broke box office numbers and everything like that. This pretty much was the turning point for superhero movies and movies in general, because now we see a lot of superhero movies in theaters. There's at least one in theaters every other month, I would say, or something like that, So Avengers definitely sparked the light under DC's butt, and they were like, all right, we need to make our own cinematic universe, and that hasn't been going so well as Marvel's has, because Marvel has been taking their time and stuff like that. But yeah, this is just a very great movie, very fun. If you haven't watched the 5 movies that came out before this, Iron Man 1 and 2, Thor, Captain America, and the Hulk, or the Incredible Hulk. If you haven't watched those 5 movies prior to this, I'm not exactly sure on how much you'll like it, but I still think it's a very fun, superhero comic book movie. Obviously, we got to go and get the sequel, Avengers Age of Ultron. When I first saw this in theaters, I didn't think it was that bad, but this is definitely one of the weaker Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. It's still, a fun movie, and, there's definitely its moments and stuff like that, and the movie does accomplish some things like introducing Vision and, everything like that. So, but yeah, as a movie for the cinematic universe, is definitely one of the weaker ones, but as a standalone movie, I still think it's, a pretty decent, movie overall. A movie that I actually bought much more recently on Black Friday, Baby Driver. Bought this on Black Friday, like I said, for like $10 or something like that. But yeah, this was a movie that I missed out on last year, and I wanted to go and see it because everyone was like, this is great, it's fantastic. And it is great and fantastic. It is a awesome action movie. There is a lot of car scenes. There are guns. There is a very interesting plot that I was very surprised by, and yeah, it is great. It is fantastic. I didn't know much going in, honestly. I had no idea exactly what the plot was or what it was setting it up to be, but I knew that cars were involved, and a very good movie was about to be seen. So that's all I really knew going in. But yeah, this is another very fun, very fantastic, fun-filled movie. Let's get the Christian Bale Batman movies out of the way. So, Batman Begins. I bought this at BJ's because I have yet to go and see any of these movies, and I was like, I need to go and watch them because I like superheroes, and I heard that these are pretty good. So I bought it, and it is great. It is fantastic. I really did like this movie, but the sequel. I also bought this at BJ's at the same time. The Dark Knight. This was very, very awesome. I love Heath Ledger's Joker. I'm pretty sure everyone can agree with me on that one. If you've seen this film, he does a excellent Joker, and everything that this movie, has around it. Batman himself, the many storylines that are going on as well. I really did like it. Also, the first scene within the movie, I think, definitely sets up the rest of the film for success. So, and then Dark Knight Rises. I think that this one is not that great, but it definitely, it's still a fine movie, I guess. I don't want to say it's completely garbage, because it's not really. It's just that it doesn't do, or like the things that it's trying to accomplish, from what I can remember, it didn't do all that well for me. But yeah, like if you've watched the previous two, you have to watch this one, right? Because it is the last film. So but yeah, Bane, I think that he was a great meme. When this movie came out, everyone was trying to do the Bane voice and everything like that. But yeah, I really did like certain scenes, like with Batman and Catwoman, all of those scenes that they were in, and stuff like that. But I'm not a movie critic, so don't ask me when it comes to like whether a movie's good or bad, because I don't really want to say every single movie's bad except for this one. But yeah, Batman vs Superman. I remember waking up early in the morning. I think it was the weekend that this came out, or the week after, or something like that. I'm not exactly sure, but I went to go see this with my neighbor, because he hasn't seen it yet either, and he was like, "You want to come see it with me?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not? Let's see what happens." So Batman vs Superman, I saw this in theaters, and the Ultimate Edition with the extra stuff in there, it explains certain things a little bit better, but it's not worth it. Sitting through that extra, I don't know what it is, like half an hour or something like that. Let me look. What is it? Yeah, it's like an extra 30 minutes tacked on, which does, like I said, explain certain things a little bit better, but I don't think it's worth it, to be honest. It is not worth sitting through the extra 30 minutes that this movie has to offer. And the fact that, watching the extended edition after seeing Wonder Woman and Justice League, this movie is not better at all. A lot of this movie is just talking and nothing really goes on. And, the whole final act too, like that wasn't even all that great either. Like what they were building it up to be, and then what they finally accomplished, it was just not all that great. And the reason why Batman and Superman stopped fighting was just, I was actually like freaking out in the theaters when that happened. I was like, what the hell? Like they actually did that? Like, holy, get me out. But yeah, next movie, Batman, The Killing Joke. The first part of the movie I know wasn't part of the original book, and I've yet to read the original comic myself, so I have no standpoint to compare it on, but I know the first like 30 minutes or something like that is not in the book, so, and a lot of people feel like that part's tacked on. I definitely see that. Like I could definitely see their perspective and where they're coming from. If they just cut that whole first part out, I think that this would be a great adaptation. But the fact that they tried to do something with Batgirl and her character, and to go and make the audience, I guess, feel a little bit sorry for her when, in the later part of the movie, what happens and stuff like that. But I don't know. I feel like that as a person who's never read The Killing Joke, and as a person who watched this movie, they probably could have cut that whole half hour out as well. I definitely stand with those people who say that. So, but yeah, I bought this on Black Friday 2 years ago, something like that. But yeah, it was like less than $10. So why not? Big Hero 6. I remember buying this on Amazon. But this was a good Disney movie that people were saying, so I was like, let me go and see it, because it got Baymax, and all these characters look like they could be in an anime or whatever. So I was like, let's go and see exactly what this movie's about, and it is a pretty good movie. It's been years since I've watched it, but from what I kind of remember, it was very enjoyable, and I liked it a lot. So if you have yet to watch it, you should definitely check it out. It's a pretty good Disney movie. The Captain America duology, I guess. The first Captain America movie, I did not know anything about Captain America at all watching this. So watching it, I thought it was a enjoyable film. I really did like the action sequences and how they set up Captain America as a character. But man, Winter Soldier, this is a good ass Marvel movie. I'm not gonna lie. I really liked what this movie did as a sequel and what message it was trying to say. Instead of instilling what is it? Protection. This is fear or something like that. But yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. Probably top 3, definitely. And the whole Winter Soldier thing, and discovering that part of the movie, like I had no idea the Winter Soldier was who he is. So watching this movie in theaters was a fantastic experience, and I really did like it. So there's that. Deadpool is another movie I watched in theaters, and it was hilarious. I really liked most of the jokes that they tried to, implement into the movie. The whole beginning sequence was fantastic, and watching it in a theater with a bunch of other people was awesome because, everyone's laughing along with you. So I can't wait to go and get that same experience in Deadpool 2, hopefully. So but yeah, this is a great movie, and cannot wait for the sequel that's supposed to come out later this year. Next movie here I have is Django Unchained. As you can see, it is still sealed. I did not watch this in theater, so I have no opinion on it as of right now. But from what I've been told, this is a fantastic movie. And I watched The Shape of Water, which is another Quentin Tarantino film, but that one's a lot more recent, and this one is a lot older. So I wonder exactly if the movie still stands up, if it's as good as people say it is, which it probably is. So one of these days I'm going to open it up and pop it in. Okay, so the next stack here is just a bunch of Dragon Ball Z Blu-rays. So I guess I'll just, talk about on how I got them and stuff like that. So this is season 3 and season 5. Yep, season 5. So these two I bought from the same seller on eBay. And he said that these were used. The pictures that I looked at, they weren't in that bad of a condition, but he did not take pictures of the back. So there were stickers, and he tried to rip them off, and obviously that did not work. So and these covers, or whatever they're called, they're in pretty bad condition as well. But I got them for a pretty cheap, reasonable price. So I've yet to test these, so I don't know if these work, but most likely they'll work because it's very hard to destroy Blu-ray disc. So moving on from there, let me just go push this back. I bought these much more recently because they were on sale at Best Buy. So I got season 7, season 8, and season 9. These are all brand new, in very good condition. And yeah, I'm very happy. I just need to go and get the rest before I could restart watching the Dragon Ball Z series once again. But this time on Blu-ray. So that is very exciting. One of the Dragon Ball Z movies that I wanted to go and get on Blu-ray was The History of Trunks and Bardock, the Father of Goku. The reason I wanted to go and get this on Blu-ray was because this Blu-ray is actually cheaper than buying them on DVD, from what I can research during that time. Maybe it's different now, I'm not exactly sure. Or maybe I'm just talking out of my ass, maybe I'm lying. But anyways, History of Trunks is definitely my favorite Dragon Ball Z movie ever, just because it's actually canon for one thing, and then Trunks is one of my favorite Dragon Ball Z characters as well, and I like seeing where he came from and his story as future Trunks and stuff like that. And the Bardock movie is pretty good as well, because that is canon as well, onto how Goku's father died to Frieza, and why Goku was I guess so or just like another reason as to why Goku wanted to kill Frieza and stop him from doing what he was doing, So, yeah, definitely a very good dual pack of Blu-ray movies for Dragon Ball Z. I also have Dragon Ball Z Battle of the Gods. This was a pretty good Dragon Ball Z movie. It was definitely much more like Dragon Ball in some regards, I would say, because there's not a lot of action, and like the ending of the movie really ticks some people off, which it did to me at first, but it kind of made sense now that you look at it right now, because they were actually setting it up as like Dragon Ball Super and everything like that. But Battle of the Gods as a standalone Dragon Ball Z movie is not all that strong in my opinion. But Resurrection F, This one was filled with a lot more action, and Frieza comes back and all that stuff. So this movie is definitely a lot more exciting and a lot more fun to watch, I would say. So it's just more Dragon Ball Z action, pretty much. So there's that. I think that's all the Dragon Ball Z stuff I have. So let's move on to Dunkirk. I've not watched this movie. It's still sealed. I didn't watch it in theaters either, so I have no opinion on it, but I heard a lot of good things, so cannot wait. Frozen. This was a Disney movie that took, I think, most of the world by storm just by the Let It Go song. And yeah, I just wanted to go and see the movie and see what the fuss was about. And it's a pretty good Disney movie. It's not the best, I guess. I'm not exactly sure because I haven't watched every single movie Disney has created, but I could definitely see why this movie stayed relevant for so long just because of that song and kids and stuff like that. But as a teenager / young adult, this is a pretty good Disney movie, I would say. Ghost in the Shell 25th anniversary edition. I haven't watched this yet. As you can see, it's still sealed. But yeah, I want to watch it, just haven't yet. Gifted. This was another movie I bought on Black Friday, and I've watched it. It is a great movie. I think that this is... who's the director of this movie? He directed The Amazing Spider-Man. God damn it, what's his name? Give me 1 second. What's his goddamn name? Is it on here, at all? The director. Mark Webb, I believe. Yeah, Mark Webb. It just came to my mind. But anyways, yeah, Mark Webb, this is definitely one of his best movies that I've seen. He also did 500 Days of Summer and, like I said, the Amazing Spider-Man movies. But yeah, this was fantastic. I really did like it and the story that it told and everything like that. So really, really good movie. Godzilla. The 2014 reboot. I believe this was released in 2014. Yep, 2014. This was a movie that my friend wanted me to watch because he loves Godzilla. Damien, the co-host of the Two Players podcast, he loves Godzilla and he wanted me to go and see this movie. And yeah, so I've yet to watch it actually. Despite it being open, I actually bought this used. So, but it does come with the DVD and Blu-ray. So one of these days I will watch it and hopefully I'll like it. I probably will, but Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I've yet to open it just because I have no reason to rewatch it right now because it's actually on Netflix. So, if you want to watch this movie and you have a Netflix account, you can watch it. But Volume 2 is good. It's a fun movie. But when you compare it to the first one, just by how good and how great the first movie is at setting up the characters and setting up the Guardians of the Galaxy themselves, I think that this is a much better movie. But as a sequel and all that stuff, I think that this was a very fun movie. But like I said, the first one is still king overall. Last movie for this stack anyways is Hacksaw Ridge. This was another movie I bought on Black Friday this past year. And this was a movie that I wanted to go and see, and it is great. It is really goddamn good. I only knew Andrew Garfield from the Amazing Spider-Man movie, so I wanted to go and see exactly how well he would do in this one, and wow, he did amazing, and the rest of the cast did a fantastic job as well. And this is definitely a war movie. They do not hold any punches. There are body parts flying everywhere during the later half of the movie, and that's just the reality of war, I guess. So but yeah, this was a great movie and I really did like it. All right, so now let's move on to this next stack over here. Let me just move these to the side for a second and just push this one back real quick. Okay, moving on to the next stack here. We got Home Alone, the 2-pack with the first movie and the second movie, Lost in New York. These are definitely childhood favorites of mine. These are movies that my mom showed me and my brother when we were younger. And yeah, I really do like the Home Alone first and second movie. I have watched the third one on TV. It's all right, but these two will always be the best, especially the first one, because the second one's much more of just like a retreading of like what the first movie did, except now we're in New York. So, but yeah, these are great Christmas movies, and I highly recommend them if you have yet to watch them. So, there's that. Iron Man, the Iron Man trilogy. Let's talk about these. So, Iron Man 1. I'm pretty sure everyone can say that this is a great Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. Some people even say that this is the best Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. It's definitely top 5 material, maybe top 3. I'm not exactly sure, but this is definitely a really good Marvel Cinematic Universe movie and a good movie as a whole as well. Iron Man 2 as a sequel, it doesn't really do much, like in terms of what it accomplishes and stuff like that. I really think that this is definitely one of the weaker Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, just like Avengers Age of Ultron. Like, they establish, God damn it, Black Widow and Rhodey, but that's about it. So, but Iron Man 3, I think that this one's a lot more controversial in terms of like where people stand, because some people like it, some people hate it because of the twist that this movie has to offer, which I will not spoil. But there is a huge twist in this movie, which some people love, some people hate. Personally, I didn't hate it. I really actually liked it. As to where the movie went afterwards, I like that as well. As a whole, I think that this is my personal favorite out of the Iron Man trilogy. I probably need to go and watch Iron Man 1 again, and probably just watch all 3 of these movies in a row, just going, get like a clear standpoint and opinion. But I really liked where this movie went and everything like that. So, and I saw this movie in theaters, so that helps too. So, I have that memory of going to a very late night showing with my friends and stuff like that. So, next movie here, It. This movie is pretty good. It has horror elements, but I wouldn't say that it's like a horror movie, because there are jump scares, but it's not like, the movie keeps you on your seat 24/7, because for most of them I saw them coming. And as a whole, the movie isn't that scary. It's just very creepy and disturbing at times, and I really do like what they did with the characters and everything like that, and the liberties that they took, transferring it from the original book to this new adaptation. So, but yeah, this was a very, very good movie in my opinion. It follows another movie that I still have yet to watch. This is a movie that my brother recommended for me to watch, so I want to go and watch it with him and, show him my reactions, I guess, as I'm watching the movie or whatever. So, but yeah, I hear that this is a pretty good one. John Wick Chapter 2. This, I do want to get the first one. That's what I meant to say. I don't have it right now because I've yet to buy it. So I have watched it though. My neighbor brought it over and we watched it with me, him, and a bunch of other friends. And then I bought this on Black Friday because I was like, I want to go and see where Chapter 2 goes. And Chapter 2 was okay. It's not as good as the first one because it's kind of hard to top what the first one accomplished. But I feel like the third one, what they're probably going to do with the last one in the trilogy, hopefully, it's probably going to be like over the top, balls to the wall, John Wick action. So not to say that this movie's bad, it's just that, it's not as great as the first one. La La Land. This was a movie that I saw after the Golden Globes fiasco, with them supposed to win, I think it was like movie of the year or something like that. I'm not exactly sure on how these, things go, but they were supposed to win something at the Golden Globes, and then it turns out it was Moonlight. And I was like, well, I want to go and see this movie and Moonlight. And this one was extending the showing times in theaters. So it was me, my neighbor, and another friend that saw this in theaters. And it was a great movie. I was really surprised by how much I liked it. I'm not really into musical sort of movies like that, and I don't think I really watched a movie like that before watching La La Land, and they did a fantastic job, and I really did like the movie. So there's that. Logan. Oh my god, man, this was a great movie. I saw this on a day off where I didn't have school, and I just went to the theaters, saw it with like 3 other people in the theater, and it was awesome. I really, really loved this movie. This is my favorite movie of last year. And as Hugh Jackman's exit as Wolverine, this was definitely a great send-off message, or like a great send-off movie, not send-off message. But yeah, this is a fantastic movie, and if you like superheroes and action movies in general, you should definitely check this movie out because it is fantastic. Man of Steel. I bought this because I was going to see Batman v Superman, and I wanted to go and see the movie prior, so I bought it, watched it, and I don't remember much from it. I am not going to lie, I don't remember a lot of this movie, and that is very disappointing, because this is the first movie within the DC extended universe, cinematic universe, whatever you want to call it, and I don't remember much from this movie. I actually fell asleep watching this movie the first time, so I don't know what happens at the end, or like the last fourth of the movie, so I don't know what happens from then on, basically. Moonlight, like I said, with La La Land, I wanted to go and watch this movie, and I watched it. I had no idea exactly what this movie was about. At least with La La Land, I knew that it was some sort of, like musical sort of thing. But with Moonlight, I had no idea what I was getting into. So I bought the Blu-ray, watched it, and it was a fantastic movie. I love this movie as well. I think that really everyone should, check this movie out and watch it and see the story that it has to tell and everything like that. So, yeah. Next movie here, Pacific Rim. This is a great movie. I really do like it. Or Guillermo del Toro. Oh, wait, I think he did Shape of Water. Or was it Quentin Tarantino? Oh, God, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I don't know directors as well as I probably should. But anyways, Pacific Rim, this is a fun movie. It is awesome. It's just a bunch of robots fighting monsters, and it is great. And the movie, or the story that the movie has to tell, is also really good. So if you have yet to watch this, the sequel is about to come out. I'm not exactly sure on how well the sequel is going to do, but it has John Boyega in it. So let's hope that one does just as good or maybe even better than this movie right here. Scott Pilgrim versus the World. This is a great movie adaptation in terms of from a book to a movie. I think that the Scott Pilgrim movie right here did a fantastic job of transferring it from the graphic novel to the movie. It is very stylized in that way as well. So you'll definitely see certain images and stuff like that transfer from the book to the movie. And yeah, I really do like it. As a standalone movie, I think it does pretty well as well, because my brother recently watched this and he doesn't know anything about Scott Pilgrim. He's never read any of the books or anything like that, so he watched this as a movie and he really liked it. So yeah, this is another great movie. And if you like video games, which if you're on my channel you probably do, you should definitely check this movie out, because there's a lot of video game references and tropes here and there. So there's that. The Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy. I watched the second and third movie in theaters, but I was very young. So for this movie, I saw it over at my neighbor's house for the first time, and I really liked it. And this was pretty much where I fell in love with Spider-Man and superheroes in general. But yeah, the Sam Raimi first Spider-Man movie is fantastic, and it is still, really good and still watchable to this day. So, but with the sequel, I think that this movie, is really good as well. I think it's a lot better than the first one. When I was younger, I actually didn't like this movie all that much, because I really hated that, Spider-Man lost his powers. I had no idea exactly why that happened, but now that I'm older and I guess, have more knowledge as to why that happened, I don't even think there's like a real explanation. I think it really has to deal with Peter Parker's love for Mary Jane. I think that's where that, sort of thing collided. He started to feel like that, he just felt, or like, something like that between them two, pretty much. I'm not going to try to explain myself here, but yeah, Spider-Man 2, it is great. And also there's like a little like Spider-Man 2.1 on here, which pretty much like, yep, Spider-Man 2.1, some additional scenes and extended fight sequences not seen in theaters. So watching that version, I definitely know what scenes are extended and stuff like that, because I'm like, wait, that scene was a little bit shorter and that didn't happen. But still another great movie. But Spider-Man 3, notorious for being bad, just because of the emo Spider-Man scenes and how they introduced Gwen Stacy and Eddie Brock and Venom and all that stuff. But yeah, this is definitely a mess of a movie. When I was younger, I would actually just like take the DVD that I had and just go to the last scene, because that was just very cool for me to watch when I was younger. And yeah, it's still kind of cool, because it's like Spider-Man fighting Venom and Sandman, and then the new Goblin shows up and all that stuff. So but yeah, as a movie, it's definitely the weakest out of the Sam Raimi trilogy, which I'm very sad that they actually didn't go forward with the fourth Spider-Man movie. So instead, what we got was the Mark Webb Amazing Spider-Man duology. They only did 2. They plan to do more, but Sony obviously saw that the Spider-Man movies that they were making weren't all that great. The Amazing Spider-Man, I actually really like this movie. It's a pretty good Spider-Man movie, in my opinion, in terms of like retelling the whole Peter Parker story and all that. I actually cried in theaters. I'm not going to lie. I actually cried in theaters watching this movie because of Uncle Ben's death. I knew Uncle Ben was going to die, but just how they did it, I'm not exactly sure why. I literally just cried in the theater. Not, like weeping, crying, but, like tears came down my eyes. So you could probably make fun of me for that in the comment section. But yeah, the Amazing Spider-Man, the first movie, was pretty good. The second movie, I saw this movie with Damien and his brother, and after walking out of the theater, we went to go eat, and we were talking about the movie, and I was like, I thought it was pretty good. You kind of say that after watching a movie, knowing that, this is your favorite character. Spider-Man is my favorite superhero, but, I didn't know exactly, or like, looking back, I didn't know exactly on how many flaws the movie had. Even with the first Amazing Spider-Man, the whole plot thread with him trying to find Uncle Ben's murderer, that's kind of just cut out. And with this movie, it's kind of just exemplified with the many villains and, how the Goblin just shows up at the end and everything like that. So, and, how the Rhino's literally just in the movie in the beginning and at the end. So there are definitely more flaws with this movie, which I can see why, Sony decided to go and let Marvel have Spider-Man back again for their movies, which Spider-Man Homecoming. Spider-Man Homecoming is definitely top 5 Marvel MCU movies, in my opinion. This is a great Spider-Man movie because they don't go into the whole Peter Parker, getting bit by a spider and Uncle Ben dying and all this stuff. It's all of this is assumed, and I'm pretty sure this allows Marvel to have leeway with telling a different story, which they already did with this movie. In terms of, oh wait, everything's upside down. They already did that with this movie, if you've seen, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but they did a lot of different stuff within this movie in terms of, Spider-Man and everything like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if like Uncle Ben just like returns or something like that, like he actually didn't die. But maybe they like divorced or something like that, something else could have happened. That's what I'm pretty much trying to say here, is that Marvel didn't show Uncle Ben dying, so that could just leave up to many different possibilities. That's all I'm saying. I don't hope that happens, but that is in the realm of possibilities. So let's get to the last stack over here. Okay, so the last stack here, I have a bunch of other movies, should be like 16 or so. I'm going to try to blaze through these because some of them I haven't even watched yet. So first up, Star Wars, the complete saga with episodes 1 through 6. The first ones I watched were Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clone Wars, and then I saw Revenge of the Sith in theaters. But I was so young back then, like I didn't know what was going on, and I was kind of like bored, so I kind of fell asleep in the theater watching this movie, and like I didn't even pay for it, and I kind of felt bad because my neighbor took me, my brother, and their kids, and we kind of went and saw the movie. and I fell asleep in the theaters, and I felt kind of bad. So, and I kind of feel bad to this day, which is why I'm still talking about it. But, afterwards we watched the original trilogy, which I did not know that this was the original trilogy because I was so young back then. So, but yeah, these are, or, these are good movies. These, on the other hand, maybe Revenge of the Sith is the only good one out of these two. But yeah, these are pretty good. These aren't. So, but with The Force Awakens, I really like this movie. I saw it in theaters, in like, a really nice theater with like nice chairs and all that stuff. It was like some pretty expensive tickets. So when we saw this movie and when I came out of it, I was like, wow, that was a really good Star Wars movie. I really liked it. I really liked where they went with these characters, with Finn and Rey and Kylo Ren, and this new trilogy that they're setting up. And even with The Last Jedi, the newest one that came out, a lot of people had some, dislikes about it, which I feel like that's just because it didn't go the way that they wanted it to in their heads, because that's how Star Wars fans are. A lot of them had expectations and predictions going into The Last Jedi, and it just didn't happen the way they wanted it to. But personally, I just went in expecting a good Star Wars movie, and that's what I got. So Ted, this is a movie that I want to watch just for shits and giggles and, just laugh a lot. I've yet to open it because my brother wants to watch it with me. So I'm going to wait for that to happen. The original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies. We got the first one and then Secret of the Ooze. I watched both of these movies on VHS because when I was younger, I was really into Ninja Turtles, and my neighbors knew that, and their kids were also into Ninja Turtles, so they allowed me to borrow some of their VHSs and stuff like that. And I remember watching Secret of the Ooze a lot, and this is a fun movie, but I think the first one is a lot better just because they actually use their weapons a lot more. And I think that was like a major complaint also with, damn, and, the whole cursing thing or whatever. But with the second one, I noticed that they didn't use their weapons as often. They would like use, the environment to their advantage, I guess. So they just didn't use their weapons as much. That's all. Next movie here, The Edge of 17. This is a movie that my brother rented from his job because he works at a library. Next movie here, The Edge of 17. This is a movie that I watched much more recently. My brother rented it and we watched it because this is a movie that I actually really wanted to go and see. It's really good. I really do like it. It's another coming of age story, but it's done differently. They set the story up in a way, and I really did like it. And yeah, I just like this movie. It's a really, enjoyable movie to sit through and watch. And, all of the characters are really likable, and the actors and actresses within this movie do a fantastic job as well. So yeah, this is a really, really good coming of age story. The Game Chasers Season 4. I haven't watched it. I've watched every single Game Chasers episode on YouTube. The only DVD set that I've actually fully watched is the first season. I own Season 2, 3, and obviously 4 here, but I haven't watched all of them. So, and now they're moving into Blu-ray, so that is pretty cool. The Incredible Hulk. I saw this movie in theaters. This was the first Marvel Cinematic Universe movie that I watched, and I really liked it. I really liked Edward Norton's portrayal of Bruce Banner and the Hulk and everything like that. But they decided to go and recast him for Mark Ruffalo, which I don't think was a mistake on their part. I think Mark Ruffalo is doing a great job, but even then, Edward Norton in this movie, he is great. I really like this movie. It's definitely top 5, definitely Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, maybe even top 10 probably, because there's so many of them now. So, but yeah, I really do like this movie a hell of a lot. So. The Nice Guys. This is a movie that is a sort of like buddy cop sort of ordeal, and it is really good. I really do like Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling in this movie. They do a fantastic job as, the characters that they play, and the whole storyline that unfolds and the mystery that is there to untail was very fun to watch and see exactly on how these characters, decided to go and deal with it. So it was a very fun, very funny movie, and very enjoyable. The Wolf of Wall Street. This movie is very, very old, and it's so old. I recently bought this for $10 at Best Buy. So I bought it. I watched it. It's a 3-hour movie, which I did not know going in. So I watched it, and I was like, "Wow, this is really good." It definitely tells. I believe this is a true story. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that this is a true story. What the hell am I saying? Yes, this is a true story. Martin Scorsese directed this, and he did a great job directing it. And, obviously Leonardo DiCaprio, also fantastic actor. But yeah, this is a very fun movie. Obviously, it's rated R, so, keep that in mind when you're watching this movie. But yeah, very, very, really good movie. Thor: The Dark World. I don't own the first Thor on Blu-ray yet because that movie is still a lot of money. So, but yeah, Thor: The Dark World. This is another weak sequel, probably the weakest sequels out of every single Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. But nowadays, I think Marvel is getting the hang of doing sequels and stuff like that, with Winter Soldier and everything like that. So this is a very, very good movie at that. Next movie here, we got Wonder Woman. This is probably the only good, really good DC Cinematic Universe movie. When you compare it to the likes of Batman v Superman, it's like no competition. I haven't even watched Suicide Squad, but I'm pretty sure that movie's also just really bad. Man of Steel, even then, this movie, Wonder Woman, is just so much better. Even Justice League, which just came out. Justice League is a fun movie, but Wonder Woman is just a great movie and really tells a fantastic story of, who Wonder Woman is and, the whole origins and stuff like that. So really, really good DC Universe movie for once. And hopefully there's more to come. Second to last movie here I got is Wreck-It Ralph. This was a movie that I wanted to watch because it has eluded me for a very, very long time. I wanted to go and watch it so many times, but I just didn't get the chance to. So I bought it on Blu-ray and I watched it, and it was great. I really do like the whole video game references and Ralph as a character. Him not wanting to be a bad guy anymore, and also with the whole storyline and how the story unfolds. Obviously, Disney movies, from what I can tell, they always set up a story that looks like it's going one way, then they have this insane twist that happens halfway through the movie or something like that. That happened the same thing with Coco, which I will not spoil, obviously, but they also do the same thing there. But overall, Wreck-It Ralph, fantastic movie. Last movie I got here, Your Name. I'm not a huge anime nut, so take this very seriously when I say this. Your Name is a fantastic movie. It is great. The animation in this movie is beautiful. The story this movie has to tell is also really, really good. And I saw this in theaters when they did that limited release showing with Your Name. I watched it and it was fantastic. I was so engaged with after the whole plot twist happened, which to those that watched it know what I'm talking about. After that point, I was like, wait, what? And then from that point on, I was really engaged into the movie. I really, really, really like this movie. And I think it is, one of the best anime movies out there just by the sheer box office numbers that this movie was able to accomplish. So, but yeah, that is my entire Blu-ray collection. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys have not already, you can subscribe. I put new videos up every single Saturday. Want to follow me on social media, Facebook and Twitter, you can do that as well. And be sure to check out my live stream tomorrow at 12 p.m. EST. I will be streaming more Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus, and hopefully getting into Sly 2 Band of Thieves afterwards. But yeah, I think that is about it. Thank you guys for watching this video again. I will see you guys next time with more videos. Game on, gamers.